Good morning. Welcome to News Channel 3 Sunrise. I'm Melanie Schaefer.
And I'm Rob Johnson. Thanks for joining us this Tuesday, November the 18th.
Coming up, a community comes together to remember a pair of teenagers who tragically lost their lives following a violent car crash this last weekend.
And with the weather starting to turn really frigid, you're probably going to turn up the heat in your house. But we have some do's and don'ts for heating your home this winter.
It's 5 a.m. You're watching News Channel 3 Sunrise.
I'm WSAZ meteorologist Brandon Butcher here with your first warning forecast. Those furnaces going just like it was the dead of winter because those temperatures are actually right around where they belong in the later part of January. Here's dual Dopplers showing the snow showers still coming in because of that cold air. You're going to see them in little bands that are going to be wafting down toward the south and the east during the morning hours, so they could allow for a brief new dusting on some of the roadways, on some of the windshields as we go on into the day. But the real story for everybody is the cold. We're going to be talking about temperatures near record cold levels this morning. And then this afternoon, same thing, because high temperatures will only get in the 20s. Now, there'll be a few flurries out there because of that still arriving cold air aloft, but we'll also see some breaks for sunshine. So you may encounter both on your drive, so just do be careful because some roads are treated, some are not, and you could go through variable conditions all the way through. And tonight, when it clears out, it just gets even colder out there. You can still see that at work on the big maps this morning. So here are your headlines. To put it in perspective, today is 50 degrees colder than what we got to enjoy on Veterans Day, oh so very long ago. We are looking for a warm-up this weekend, though it comes at a price to have some showers here. So we'll track the whole story right through the weekend coming up.
Yeah, it is bitter out there this morning indeed. Thanks, Brandon.
I know this morning police using dogs to track down a person who robbed a gaming parlor in Kanawha County late last night. Dispatchers say that the Mimi's location in St. Albans was robbed around 11:30. According to the witnesses, this person came in, had a gun, but don't know exactly how much money they got. Police are now looking for a guy who was wearing a light brown jacket and jeans at the time. Any of that sounds familiar, you can contact St. Albans police. Now, roads across the region just frozen last night, and yeah, we had a lot of accidents. Check out this one, happened on I-64 near the Cross Lanes exit around 9:30 or so. Car just spun out, and we did see some major damage.
You can also see how slick the roads are in the area. Traffic may be slower this morning near the Kanawha-Putnam County line on I-64. Icy roads last night. We had reports last night of the Tays Valley exit being just pure ice. So keep this in mind as you head out this morning. The temperatures will continue to drop.
Well, now to a crash in Ohio that killed two young people from South Point High School.
Jacob Damron, just 17 years old, killed in this accident on US 52 at Lick Creek Road, and his passenger, Sarah Toman, also 17, died yesterday afternoon from her injuries, passing away at St. Mary's. Now, last night, classmates, friends, and members of the community all coming together at South Point High School for a candlelight vigil to remember these teens who were taken so soon. News Channel 3's Andrew Colgrove was there at the emotional service.
You're mad one minute, you're sad the next, and you just wonder why, and then there's no explanation as to why.
The tears among a standing room only crowd in South Point High's gymnasium made it clear how devastating a loss this was.
We just look to you right now, Lord. We look to you for strength.
He's just one of those great guys that you wanted on your side.
Students already mourning Jacob Damron's death learned Monday afternoon his passenger, Sarah Toman, was not able to survive.
Losing her is probably the toughest thing any of us have ever gone through.
Kirsten Cox was with classmates at the hospital. She had gone to get everybody something to eat. When she returned, she discovered they would not be getting the miracle that they'd hoped for.
I came in the hospital in the hallway filled with everybody, and I had pizza in my hand, and I just saw everyone crying, and I knew.
I could barely walk in the hallway today without crying.
A student body left incomplete.
I don't know how we're going to get to graduation or how we're going to focus on anything after this, but I guess we don't have a choice, and Sarah would want us to go on.
They will be deeply, deeply missed. Students were allowed to miss school yesterday to mourn, and grief counselors will be back at the school today.
Putnam County Sheriff's Office looking for help in finding a missing man. He's been gone for a week now. 56-year-old Brett Fox He was going to go visit friends in Lincoln and Mingo counties. That was November 10th. He's never shown up. He has not reached out to family or friends either. Now, police say he's a diabetic and he's in need of daily medication. So if you know where he is, contact 911.
Hey, racking up parking tickets will soon be a thing of the past. In Charleston, last night, City Council gave the green light for a new ordinance that will crack down on people with those unpaid parking tickets. Here's how this one works. A boot will be put on your car if you have 5 unpaid parking tickets or you owe more than $250. Big difference. Under the old rule, the number was only 4. And get this, your record was wiped clean each year. That will not be the case anymore.
Now the dip in the temperature outside, turning up the heat inside. But experts want to remind you there are safer ways to heat your house. Every winter, way too many house fires happen, and it steadily increases from November through April. One of the biggest causes, fires from space heaters. If you're going to use one, make sure you have 36 inches of clear space for them. That's 3 feet. And don't use a space heater as your only form of heat during the winter.
Hard to be safe if a space heater is your only form of heat. It's best to have a regular system that operates in your house, but I do not recommend leaving space heaters on or fireplaces or pellet stoves or anything like that overnight when you're not awake.
Now, same thing with a fireplace, he's warning, because if you use one, you shouldn't keep it going overnight too when you're asleep.
Hey, there's a new ordinance in Dunbar designed to help people nip the growing cat population. It was the Trap, Neuter, Return program's first reading at City Council. This is how this one works. Anytime a humane officer sees a cat roaming around a neighborhood, they'll trap the cat and then take it to the shelter, have it neutered or spayed, and its ears snipped to tag it. Humane officers will then bring that cat right back to the area where it was found.
This is not really for the homeowner's pet that keeps it in the house. It's for the stray cats that are running loose in town. That's what this ordinance is more about.
Now, a vote on this will happen in the next few weeks. Cat owners who are letting their feral cats roam around the neighborhood could also be cited.
Kentucky's First Lady Jane Beshear made a stop in Carter County, naming Olive Hill a Kentucky Trail Town. Olive Hill now the 4th city in the state to receive that designation. State and local leaders hope the title also boosts tourism and marketing potential for Olive Hill.
And we want those visitors to come to our town and enjoy the outdoors and to also hopefully spend money while they're here. We hope they have a really good time and stay longer. I think the whole concept is around economic development, and it is a way to help our small towns in Kentucky capitalize on what they have.
New signs are going to be installed around town to help direct visitors to trails, campgrounds, lodging, and entertainment where they'll spend some of that money in Olive Hill.
3, 2, 1, let the lights come on!
Yeah, I recognize that voice. That's Rob. It was beginning to look a lot like Christmas in Ashland, Kentucky. City kicked off its winter wonderland of lights last night. Rob throwing the switch. Took weeks of hard work setting up the displays, making sure all the lights work, but organizers say this is all worth it.
We see people that come out and enjoy Winter Wonderland, and there's something in our festival that attracts people of all age groups.
Now the Winter Wonderland of Lights will stay up through January the 4th.
Well, the first for Charleston yesterday is the U.S. Capitol tree makes a stop overnight, all lit and decorated, sitting inside the truck that will take it to Washington, D.C. Santa Claus, along with Mayor Jones and the Appalachian Children's Chorus, rang in the celebration with a ceremony Monday evening. The white spruce was cut down in Minnesota. Since then, it's been on a 2,000-mile trip. Its next stop, Marietta, Ohio.
Now call funny, who makes them look apathetic?
If he were any sweeter, we might end up diabetic.
All right, more Christmas spirit. Elves taking over the Keith Albee last night, specifically Buddy the Elf. What's your favorite color? The lovable holiday movie turned Broadway musical Stop by Huntington. The story, of course, follows Elf Buddy, who was adopted by the elves as a baby human. He travels to New York City to meet his dad. Now, the show kept audience members laughing the whole time and put everybody in the holiday spirit. If that didn't do it, the cold temperatures will this morning.
Better to be indoors for the elves than outdoors lighting the tree. It was cold out there last night. Well, still coming up here on Sunrise, the Buckeyes with only a couple of hurdles left before a Big Ten championship.
Plus, we'll show you how a group of high school students helped their local police department overcome a hurdle of their own.
And be careful out there this morning. Still expecting to see some icy spots today. And unfortunately, there will be no thaw on this Tuesday. Still near record territory with those temperatures. Forecast next.
First warning weather.
My cheeks are still windburned from last night's ceremony turning on the Winter Wonderland of Lights in Ashland. It was just harsh because that snow just kept hitting me in the face the whole time we were talking on stage.
And there will be some school kids this morning seeing the same thing, though we do have some delays out there and all of that. You'll see it some scrolling across the screen this morning. But as we go on to the day, do not expect it to warm up a whole lot. It'll just feel chilly. That brisk wind will keep wind chills around the single digits all day long. This is November, not mid-January, and unfortunately we're in it. So, yellow light this morning, icy spots out there. Yes, we've had reports of it all night long, and when temperatures dip below into the teens, now even the road salt is going to have trouble getting itself to work here on the roadway. So we go into the day, a few flakes, some patchy sunshine. It's that kind of a day, but because of that cold air, we're still going to be stuck in the low 20s, mid-20s this afternoon. And it may even encourage a few flakes in the afternoon hours as well, though mainly up to the mountains. Tonight we clear out a little bit, but unfortunately that only allows us to get even colder, perhaps the coldest night yet tonight. Dual Doppler tracking those snow flurries. We got plenty here on HD Dual Doppler, particularly along and east of the Charleston metro area. You could see these lines indicating some squalls coming through. These would be good enough to put more flakes out on the windshield. Maybe, if it's cold enough, would get down on the road for the dusting. Not a lot, but it's another reminder that the roadways can be slick. Look at these numbers now. Temperatures dropping into the mid-teens. Huntington probably be a little colder than Charleston this morning, but everybody is going to get down there into those teens. Out toward the mountains of Richwood, they got snow-covered roads. Temperature there near 10. Won't get to 20 up that way. All right, here's the maps. We have some opening for a little sunshine at times today, but because the cold air is still arriving, you can see another wave of cloud cover here. That's being excited by more cold air coming in aloft. And that is going to be the issue as we get into the day. So not a whole lot of impetus for sun, but when we try to see some, what that'll do is perhaps encourage another line of clouds in the afternoon. So we wake up, a few flakes around, eventually that quits, and then Any break for sun will encourage another set of clouds to come in this afternoon. Now Tuesday night, we do clear out a little bit more again, but then Wednesday and the next batch is coming on in, and we will have that to tackle during the course of the day. Wednesday evening, after sunshine, now more clouds and, of course, a few flakes. Why not? Coming through into early Thursday, and we'll see those clouds hanging around in the morning hours. So let's take you around the region. Temperatures in and around the lower to mid-20s in southern Ohio. See a few areas of flurries, but also breaks for sunshine. Same thought down to the south as well along Route 23, but remember, a lot of those valley, rural roads, hills and dips and all of that got an inch of rain. Now with temperatures below freezing, well below freezing, could get some icy spots. Same thoughts here in southern West Virginia. Do be careful this morning. And then, of course, in the central areas, Kanawha Valley, westward, northeastward, and in the mountains of Summersville, you got some cold air here. Icy cold this morning in your forecast. Be careful on the roadways. Patchy clouds and flurries. Bundle up to the hilt. We start in the teens, only make the mid-20s. There will be some breaks for sunshine, but the wind chill itself will be in the single digits. Tonight, the coldest yet. How about that? 15 degrees for your low. Headlines for the next couple of days. We do get some better sun on Wednesday, with a few flakes coming by on Thursday. But as far as getting back to where we should be for this time of year, do not expect quote-unquote normal to show up until the weekend. But even there, we're going to be watching for some showers showing up Sunday. You do get a little bit of a break there parts of Friday into Saturday, so that might be the best time this week.
The sun always helps too. Hey, we do have a school change. Martin County, Kentucky has moved to closed now this morning, so be aware of that.
Lots of schools are delaying too. Still coming up here at Sunrise, college basketball already has its first major upset.
We'll show you which top 10 team got knocked off in just a couple of minutes.
Also, as we head into the break, the stock market figures for you. Let's check some of the jobs available this morning. Our Sunrise Career Classifieds. A security officer is needed. It's for a job in Davin and Logan County. Pay is $9.65 an hour. You do have to be a high school graduate and have at least 1 year of experience. A phlebotomist is needed. This is for a job in Williamson. The pay $20,000 a year. You have to be a high school graduate with specific education in phlebotomy. They also want 1 year of experience. And a manager trainee is needed. This is for a job in Williamson. They want a high school graduate, 1 year of experience in a retail setting for it. And if you'd like more information, you can contact the Logan Job Service. The phone number to that office is 304-792-6900. 7010. All of this online too at WSAZ.com. Just click on the classified link at the top of the page. And we'll get you more listings tomorrow morning.
Florida Police Department getting help for a helping hand from a pretty unlikely source. How about high school students? Justin Wormuth shows us how these students overcame a technology challenge and are helping to save lives.
SWAT robots are designed to go into the most dangerous situations where officers are most at risk, and now the Cocoa Police Department has one, thanks to about a dozen high school students.
I thought it was awesome. You get to build a robot for the police that they're going to use, and it'll really help them.
16-year-old sophomore Thomas Mueller and his group, the Bionic Tigers, showed off their not-so-usual after-school project this morning. The robotics team, made up of mostly Cocoa High School students, were contacted by the Crisis Negotiations Unit at the Cocoa Police Department earlier this year to build this robot for the SWAT team. The goal? To help deliver a phone in hostage and crisis situations.
It's phenomenal. It's amazing what they created. It really is.
But this robot can do more than just deliver a phone. Its robotic arm can deploy flashbangs and carry items up to 15 pounds to officers who are in potentially dangerous situations.
Normally, before we had this, I would have to take members of my SWAT team behind a shield and carry the item up to wherever we wanted to put it, drop it, and then have them go back. With this, we can do it with a robot, and at no time do I have to put officers in harm's way.
With the help of engineers at the Kennedy Space Center, the Bionic Tigers were able to finish the robot in about a week. Mueller says knowing that they were building something as important as this definitely added a little pressure.
Like I said, it does help save lives, and that does put a little bit of pressure on us to make sure it works and it stays reliable.
I hope they all get A pluses.
Yeah, how
that's
about
excellent.
that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Outside this morning, not cool.
Not A plus.
Failing grade?
No, yes, F minus. Don't hate me here on this one. It got to happen. It is a cold one today. Temperatures dropping into the teens at this hour. Will not get out of the 20s. And that's snowable weather, folks, and we certainly have our snowflakes flying. Not everywhere, but we'll go through some of these patchy flurries day in and day out here. Icy cold this morning, so watch out on the roadways. As we get into the day, it perhaps improves a little better, especially if you get a little period of sun there to thaw things out, but the temperatures stay in the 20s. We will see a few more flakes this afternoon, particularly in the mountains, but the wind chills all the way through just stay in the single digits, and then the temperatures cool right down tonight as well. Note there on Dual Doppler, put the loop in there. You see the animation implying that more flurries still inbound. Not everywhere, though, but what is everywhere? The cold. Temperatures are about 20 degrees colder than even yesterday morning, and yesterday was below normal. So there you go.
Extra zippy today. All right, thank you.
Still coming up at Sunrise, the Steelers a tough time on Monday Night Football.
We'll have that, and we'll show you if they were about to pull out the victory in Nashville just a couple minutes away.
I'm Rich Donnelly. Coming up in sports, the Buckeyes get ready for one of the best of the Big Ten, plus the West Virginia Mountaineers are home on a short week. We've got that and more next in sports.
WSAZ News Channel 3 Sunrise.
5:24 now to sports. The Buckeyes now in the hunt for the Big Ten championship.
And the Mountaineers gear up for another top 25 battle in Morgantown. Here's Rich Donnelly with your morning sports.
Good morning. The Ohio State Buckeyes are in the driver's seat for a berth in the Big Ten championship game. After a convincing win over Michigan State, the Buckeyes skated past the Gophers on the ice and snow in Minnesota. The Ohio State defense has their work cut out for them this week. Ohio State allowed 3 rushing touchdowns and more than 200 yards on the ground to Minnesota on Saturday. This week's opponent is even better on the ground. Indiana's Tevin Coleman ran for over 300 yards by himself in a losing effort last week. Yesterday, Urban Meyer said that even though his team won, they have to be aware of another great running team.
We just got to make sure we're gap sound, be very smart, and we're facing one of the best rush teams, certainly in the Big Ten, and we're just, I think we're comfortable with the style of defense we're playing to go play Indiana and stop that limit that run offense.
Here's a list of the running backs that the Buckeyes will or could face in the last few games of the season. They already survived, giving up a $145 to David Cobb of Minnesota, and now they get into some serious backs. The Buckeyes will most likely face Wisconsin Melvin Gordon in the Big Ten championship game. He set a college football record with 408 rushing yards on Saturday. The defense better be ready. It's a good thing that the Mountaineers had a bye week last week because they've got a short week this week. West Virginia will host Kansas State in Morgantown on Thursday. It'll also be senior day at Milan Puskar Stadium. Before the bye, the Mountaineers lost 2 games, both crushing losses. We'll see if they can shake off the rust.
Just as far as the team's mentality, I think we're going to be ready to play. I know we're anxious to do our absolute best when it comes to finishing the year the appropriate way. I know we've lost a couple in a row right here. Guys aren't happy with that. Anxious to get out there on Thursday night and play.
The Pittsburgh Steelers struggled early on Monday Night Football, but Le'Veon Bell's 5-yard touchdown brought Pittsburgh within 4 points. Bell had 204 yards in the game. Later in the quarter, Ben Roethlisberger hits Antonio Brown for the 12-yard touchdown. The Steelers win 27-24. They'll be off next week. We've got some Major League Baseball hot stove action. Miami's Giancarlo Stanton is now the highest paid player in baseball history. He's going to make $325 million over the next 13 years. Jason Hayward will be playing for the St. Louis Cardinals next season, and former Pirates catcher Russell Martin got paid $82 million over 5 years from Toronto. We are months away from March, but the madness has already begun. Trailing with just 2 seconds on the clock, Florida throws up a prayer, and it's Brick City. The number 8 team in the country goes down. Miami wins 69-67. How about that? That's a look at sports. Back over to you guys.
Thank you, Rich.
Poor Gators.
He did that on purpose just to
I know
taunt
he did,
you.
just at the end. It's not nice.
Still ahead, we're going to show you how to prepare for that black ice on the road.
And Kanawha County is finally out of the slippery situation when it comes to their new county prosecutor. Someone's been named. We'll tell you who it is right after the break. Brandon's back to you with your first warning forecast. Stick around, 5:28. This is Sunrise.
WSAZ News Channel 3 with Rob Johnson, Melanie Schaefer, and meteorologist Brandon Butcher. This is News Channel 3 Sunrise.
A major crash on I-77 South, leaving one lane closed this morning, and crews still working to clean up a diesel fuel spill. We'll tell you about it next.
Also, Kanawha County finally has a resolution to the problem that's plagued the county for months. There is a new county prosecutor in office. We'll tell you who that is. Thanks for checking in this Tuesday. It's 5:31 right now. I'm Melanie Schaefer.
And I'm Rob Johnson. Let's start you off with Brandon and check on the forecast. I hate to say it, record-setting cold.
Yeah, if we get down to about 15, 16, that's where we need to be for today. But the high temperature this afternoon, well, the coldest it ever got in that category is about 25 to 30, and we're only going to be in the mid-20s. So unfortunately, all hours of the day may be in record territory. It's a live look at the Charleston area, and the roads may be empty, relatively speaking, at this hour. Good news is a lot of the local highways are okay, but a lot of the rural roads, remember all the icy patches? We were even covering stories on the interstates themselves last night that were slick. Well, with temperatures in the teens, it makes it impossible for some of that road salt to take effect. It actually wears down the colder you get. Now, as you get into the day, periods of sun, well, don't expect much effect with the temperature. Stuck in the 20s all day, even a few more flurries, so you have those patchy flurries coming in. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. I notice a couple of waves, a couple of lines of it. We'll see more and more of that during the course of the day. So if you are flying, you may end up needing to take some temporary precautions because of what's going on at our local airports. But as far as the destinations, it's cold just about everywhere. Even Orlando only getting to the 50s today. That's pretty cold for them.
There you go. We're all miserable together then.
All together.
Thanks, sir. Well, new this morning, down power lines, a problem well into the night on 5th Street Hill in Huntington, but we can finally tell you the road's back open. It had been shut down right at Miller Road, right beside I-64's 5th Street exit. We first told you about this yesterday evening at 6 p.m. Well, here's a look at the traffic that backed up when the road closed. But again, within the past couple of hours, the road is finally reopened to traffic.
Hey, we have some new video this morning from a crash that shut down the southbound lanes of Interstate 77 much of the night. Now, the shutdown in Ripley area after a tractor-trailer crash. Accident happened around 8:30 last night. The driver of the tractor-trailer, hit black ice, lost control. He was hurt and taken onto the hospital, and diesel fuel leaked out onto the roadway. That caused this very long shutdown. Ripley police say they had around 6 wrecks on I-77 yesterday evening alone, and they believe the accidents are weather-related. Those frigid temperatures have already caused major problems on the roadways.
Yeah, and those temperatures are just going lower this morning, making any precipitation a real problem. News Channel 3's Rebecca Pewitt has some ways to avoid the black ice issues as drivers are dealing with it this morning.
Conditions here in the Kanawha Valley have gotten progressively worse throughout the evening. But this is just another reminder to give yourself extra time when you get up in the morning to get to work. Drivers in our region know there's no way to avoid it.
It's something we have to tolerate.
And as snow covers the car of Michael Clifford, he knows the winter weather is officially here. Temperatures are expected to hit a record low Tuesday morning. Couple that with the rain and the wet snow we had Monday, and that means black ice.
If you can see it in advance, you slow down, try to go straight. Try not to turn. If you don't see it, there's no hope for you.
Which is exactly why officials with the Kanawha County Sheriff's Office are urging people to take it easy on the roads.
Adjust your speed, adjust your driving, adjust your course so that you don't go into it in a steep curve where if you lost control, then you would go off the roadway.
Corporal Humphrey says if and when you hit ice, the best thing to do is gently apply pressure to the brake, but be sure not to come to a complete stop so that once the car is off the ice, you still have control. But most importantly, he says preparation and patience can go a long way when the roads begin to freeze.
Before you go to work in the morning, if you know that there's going to be some bad weather, take a look at the forecast, find out what the temperature is.
But drivers like Clifford say all the preparation in the world may not prepare them for what this winter has in store.
I can't imagine it being any worse than last winter, but you just do the best you can and go with it.
A refresher course never hurts. If you need extra tips on how to drive in black ice or conditions like these, we've posted a link on featured links on the app and on WSAZ.com.
And you can also follow 511 on Twitter. That way, before you head out, you can check their instant updates on road conditions. The black ice is going to cause issues this morning because it's just that cold for the commute.
Oh, it's absolutely frigid, and the temperatures outside are going to make it a chilly chore just to head out the door. News Channel 3's Hattie Cheek joins us now on the corner of 7th Street, downtown Huntington. Fill us in just how cold it is outside. So sorry, Hattie, you're out there again.
You guys, it's really hard to believe, but it's back. Yeah, that biting cold that we hated so much last winter seems like it might be here to stay. It's out in full force, and like Rebecca Pewitt just reported, you know, that black ice out there, it is prevalent, and we've been talking to dispatchers all morning, and they haven't had many issues, but they have had reports of the black ice. Obviously, not too many drivers out there overnight, so as you all head out this morning, just make sure that you take those tips in that she just reported on. When it comes to dressing this morning, you know, I'm all puffed out, ready. I learned from last season that it doesn't matter what you look like, you need to stack on those layers, get a couple jackets, because I'm telling you, it's one of those mornings where it's just going to take you by surprise. It's really going to shock you. You're going to see your breath. You're going to need those gloves. You know, if you're one of those people like me, my fingers just freeze up at any given moment as long as they're not covered. So you're definitely going to need those gloves if you plan on working outside. And for you folks who do have to work outside all day, just make sure you keep on the layers. You need those long johns. You need the overalls. It's just one of those very chilling mornings, and it's very abrupt from what we've been dealing with. If we thought it was cold before, wait till you get outside this morning. It's going to be one of those days where you might not even need a cup of coffee because it's going to wake you right on up. I'll be out here all morning. I'll keep you guys updated and get you ready to head out to work and head out the door this morning. Back to you guys.
All right.
Thanks.
Hattie, thanks so much. Hey, a lawsuit against former Mingo County Circuit Court Judge Michael Thornberry is moving forward now. The case is expected to go to trial today. Robert Woodruff's lawsuit alleges malicious prosecution, false arrest, and wrongful imprisonment. Thornberry was indicted last year on charges of trying to frame Woodruff for several crimes, but the charges were dismissed for Thornberry's guilty plea in a separate case. Thornberry is serving out a 50-month sentence in Florida, but was recently brought back to West Virginia.
Kanawha County has a new prosecuting attorney, Chuck Miller, sworn into office yesterday. He was chosen from that pool of 5 candidates. He's been serving as interim prosecutor ever since Mark Plants was removed from office. Miller says his main goal for the office is including improving the relationship with local law enforcement and cutting out what he called middle school drama within the office, and also adding more transparency.
I think the public needs to know, what are we doing? You know, how many cases are we prosecuting? You know, how much money are we generating? Are we working to address the jail bill, which is enormous in Kanawha County?
Miller will now serve out the remainder of the current term that Plants had, which doesn't end until the end of 2016.
People living on Charleston's west side will be getting a number of police officers as their new neighbors. We told you about this program last month called Project West Invest. It's a plan by the Charleston Police Department for up to 10 officers to buy homes in west side neighborhoods and increase police presence and safety in areas that often see crime. Just last night, Charleston City Council gave the go-ahead for the program.
Now, some new tools will be on hand for Charleston police officers. Charleston City Council approving the purchase of new tasers. The bill will be about $37,000. They'll also be getting a 2015 Ford Utility Interceptor. That'll cost almost $30,000. Still coming up at Sunrise, unrest growing on the streets of Ferguson, Missouri this morning.
And we'll show you why the Missouri governor has declared a state of emergency to help stop the protesters.
And outside today, near record cold all day long. Still are those scattered flurries out there and some slick spots on the roads. We'll see how long it's going to take before we get back to the warmer weather. Forecast is next.
5:41. Everybody I met yesterday, all they kept saying was, I am not ready for this. It wasn't just a week ago. We were in 70 degrees
It was
and
exactly.
in
We had
shorts.
2 days in a row of 70-degree temperatures.
Wearing shorts.
Yeah, for Veterans Day, a lot of folks were out there, and now, oh boy, it is completely different. Snowshoe could set a record for being the coldest temperature all day long for the whole month of November.
Big
Just
difference.
Single digits, maybe just 5 degrees out there today. That's it. Outside, we're cold everywhere. Really, not that cold, but cold everywhere. Wind chills will be in the single digits all day long. Let's start off with a near reporter picture taken last night. Tanya, out in Gallia County here, Vinton, Ohio. That's a snow-covered road, folks, and with temperatures in the teens there, don't expect too much improvement on some of those road conditions this morning. Hence, some of those rural roads, yellow light up, watch the screen for school delays and even upgrades to cancellations this morning, and we're still going to see some flakes fly. Even as we get into the day, don't expect a whole lot of improvement. If you do get the sun out there, direct sun on the roads will melt some of that, but we're going to see those temperatures stuck in the 20s all day long, and that too can be a record. Charleston, Huntington, a lot of our area can see the coldest afternoon high. So the coldest all-day temperatures even here once we're done with the day. Now, getting into the evening time, we clear out, flakes retreat to the mountains, but temperatures tonight, it's been saying record a lot. We'll be in record territory yet again, down into the mid-teens once more. Dual Doppler having a look around town, and we still have the flakes. Eastern Kentucky seeing some head down south toward the hills of Pikeville, but also just to the south of the Charleston area. If you're traveling on I-77 toward Bluefield and the tunnels, you can see some of those flakes fly. Same thing, Route 35 and Route 19. A lot of those commuting roads would end up with the flakes on there, so be careful. The cold air still arriving. Look at that, the mid-teens on I-75. A lot of that still coming in, so some of these numbers are just going to stay right where they are for many hours this morning. Radar satellite composite indicating any window for early patchy sun be closing at times because we still have some arriving cold air aloft, warm river temperatures. You can put the two together. That's why we still have that impetus for cloud cover today. You get into the day and those clouds still hard to break here. You see mainly out toward the mountains, but any sunshine during the afternoon would actually encourage another swath of clouds to form, and with it comes some flakes too. Now Wednesday itself, back into sun for a while of the day. Good news. Then we get another line of clouds coming in late in the day, and then we'll watch a few snowflakes come by Wednesday night through early Thursday morning. Not a big deal, just reminding you that it's going to still be winter-like all the way through this week. All right, southern Ohio, be very careful on Route 7 especially. A lot of reports of some slick roadways, Route 35 as well. A few flurries on the Country Music Highway. Keep in mind some of the rural state roads, local roads, also going to have some issues this morning. Southern West Virginia, you were dodging bullets for a while there, trying to tread water above freezing, but not anymore. Very cold this morning, and that means black ice could be even more of a threat there. And in the Kanawha Valley, watching those temperatures just struggle to get back to 25. The coldest afternoon high ever for the day is 30, so we're forecasting to be well below that. So this morning, be very careful. Icy spots still out there, patchy clouds and flurries. That'll be the story most of the day. Temperatures still in the 20s, but the wind chill single digits. Any break for sunshine won't feel too well. Tonight, fewer clouds, less flurries, but near record cold again. Wednesday's highs, we thaw out a little bit, get you back into the 30s. Still well below normal for this time of year. In fact, the average low temperature for this time of year, the upper 30s.
Oh boy, not a difference we really want.
Nope,
we
not at
wish
all.
we could go back to the normal stuff. Thank you.
Thanks, Brandon. Well, still coming up at Sunrise, we're going to show you how scrubs may help revolutionize the medical field.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. And Missouri's governor has claimed a state of emergency in preparation for the grand jury decision in the shooting of the unarmed teenager Michael Brown. We have the latest on that right after the break, so do stay with us. It's 5:46 now.
WSAZ News Channel 3 Sunrise.
5:48 now. In anticipation of the grand jury's decision to indict Officer Darren Wilson in the shooting death of the unarmed teenager Michael Brown, Missouri's governor has declared a state of emergency.
Just a way to ensure a higher quality of law enforcement and protection, but Sarah Sidner shows us the move is already angering protesters.
Hands up! Don't shoot! On a day protesters marched to the St. Louis County Prosecutor's Office building, Missouri's governor declared a state of emergency in preparation for whatever may come when the grand jury releases its decision on whether or not to indict Officer Darren Wilson in the killing of unarmed teen Michael Brown. The St. Louis mayor welcomed the decision.
I agree with the governor's decision, and this is why. First of all, we don't know what's going to happen or when it's going to happen or what the decision is going to be or what the reaction is going to be. I think we need to make sure that we are prepared for whatever may happen.
But the governor's actions has angered some protesters who say their demonstrations have been peaceful for weeks and his decision is premature. The decision comes after these images of Officer Darren Wilson were released this weekend. The surveillance tapes released to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch show Wilson entering and leaving the Ferguson police station after the August 9th shooting. Though the images aren't crystal clear, Wilson does not appear to have any major wounds to his face, as initially reported by a source speaking on behalf of Wilson to a local radio station. The police department later said Wilson had no major facial injuries, but had slight swelling. Also released to the Post-Dispatch, police radio traffic that details the final moments before and after the shooting of Brown. They reveal a better timeline, but sources say when Wilson initially told Brown to get out of the middle of the street, he did not know Brown was the suspect in a theft of cigars. But the audio seems to reveal moments later he realizes Brown and his friend fit the description given by this dispatcher.
He's with another male. He's got a red Cardinals hat, white T-shirt, yellow socks, and khaki shorts. He's walking up back to the
Wilson is soon heard saying this and going after Brown and his friend.
21, put me on Canfield with 2 and send me to our car.
A confrontation then ensues at the car. Forensic evidence revealed in the autopsy later shows 2 shots were fired inside the car, then more shots rang out, killing Brown. But you would never know that from the police radio traffic released by the department. All you can hear after the shooting is this, a woman wailing, and another officer calling for backup.
25. Get us several more units over here. There's going to be a problem.
Well, now we turn to Brandon Butcher. Get a check on our forecast. It is a bitterly cold morning.
Yeah, this is cut right out of the dead of winter. Not winter yet, a month away. Well, a little more than a month away, but we got to deal with it nonetheless here. It's going to get hard to get used to all the way through. If you got to wait out front for the school bus, boy, it's not going to be fun at all. Warm up if you've got some delays out there, but remember, even those school delays may not get you too much because it's only going to be 19 degrees at 9 o'clock this morning. Periods of sun will try to help out, but look at these high temperatures. Remember, these are highs, 25 degrees. That is not going to get the job done. Still looking at some patchy sun, patchy flurries, but all day blustery cold. You see the winds continuing to throw up a few more flurries, even more spotting up even right now on dual Doppler as that cold air continues to arrive. Note now on the maps, of course, we've got delays and cancellations. Keep in mind the bottom of the screen, but it's going to be a cold, icy, bundle up inside recess kind of day, and it will get a little warmer, but only a little bit as we move forward.
If it doesn't even reach freezing, it's not going to feel like it's warm ever.
Right.
Thanks, sir.
Little is so pitiful. All right, thank you. Time for the morning coffee quiz question now.
Question this morning: what kind of parties are young professional women having in bigger cities? We showed one party in action on the news on Monday.
Answer the question correctly on our Facebook page. We'll let you know some of the folks who did get it right coming up in the next 30 minutes or so. Also ahead on Sunrise, we'll show you how some new scrubs out may revolutionize the medical field.
First, those we head into the break, the lottery numbers.
WSAZ News Channel 3 Sunrise.
5 till 6 now. With the recent concerns over Ebola gripping the country, there's now an increased focus on limiting the spread of the disease at American hospitals.
Right, and now a group of men starting with an improved antibacterial medical scrubs. These scrubs coming out. Rachel McNeil has a story.
After 9 seasons in the NFL, Bert Emanuel turned his focus to performance apparel, supplying 800,000 high-tech suits to the U.S. military. He was then contacted by Dr. Rick No, who was interested in creating high-tech gear for medical professionals.
There's a definite need for a product like this.
There have been numerous studies on stethoscopes and ties and lab coats harboring bacteria and possibly being a mode of transmission of infection between patients. And so we wanted to develop a scrub, which we call the med suit, that afforded this protection to ourselves, but more importantly, our patients.
The four friends developed the med suit, luxury made-to-measure antimicrobial high-performance scrubs. The game changer, copper.
Copper as a natural element is antimicrobial, it's antibacterial, it is antifungal. And so when we weave it into the yarns of the fabric becomes more protective.
According to the EPA, copper ions killed 99% of bacteria within 2 hours. The MedSuit also has several features which eliminate the need for lab coats, another germ carrier. There's a badge clip, pen holder, specially designed smartphone pocket, and a jewelry clip to prevent docs and nurses from losing their rings when they scrub in.
I rarely wear a ring because I lose it or something, but now we have a place where we can clip the ring in when we scrub in. We can clip your watch to it. We have little pockets here. We took away all the extraneous stuff that we don't really need and just went with really basic.
Lots of neat features there, but costly. The med suit costs $400. It's available in navy, gray, and black, and because they're hand-tailored, production time about 4 to 6 weeks to get one.
Thanks for being here for News Channel 3 Sunrise.
Stay with us. Today is coming up next.